With high-profile AEW stars interested in WWE and more, this is Wrestling Rambles. My name is John, and you're watching the Wrestling Report. Talking about the idea of competing with the World Heavyweight Champion Seth Rollins to be the face of Monday Night Raw, Cody Rhodes told Instinct Culture, "The toughest part is, we're in a generation now, and one of the reasons why this has become one of the most successful and healthy times for pro wrestling or sports entertainment, one of the biggest challenges is you're flanked by other guys and girls who could be in your spot and maybe are in your spot, and then you get it back. It's not a negative thing. Politics are involved in any type of entertainment, but they're really, I feel like, been since removed because we have a bunch of grown men and women who are there now. Charlotte Flair is not NXT Charlotte. Seth Rollins is not the Shield Seth. Kevin Owens is not ROH Kevin Owens. They've experienced it. They've felt live crowds. They've understood booking. They've understood turning over money, everything. They've understood it, and now we're all together. One of my favorite things, and I think one of the reasons why I have been in the best position I've been in my career, is because on the same show I compete with a guy, the World Heavyweight Champion Seth Rollins, every week, and it's not negative. He would like to be the Raw face, and I would like to be the Raw face. I don't know. Some weeks, maybe we trade it off, but that is what makes this good. Competition is what makes this good, and I needed to compete against the very best. Seth, I say he's top 3, one of the very best. Roman being one of the very best. That's what's been able to bring out the very best in me. Reviewing Raw from this week, former WWE writer Vince Russo said this about the promo segment of Cody Rhodes. "It's everything about Cody's demeanor. Bro, this isn't Broadway. This is pro wrestling, and he goes out there with these monologues. He's Shakespearean, and he's on a Broadway stage, and it's like, this is freaking wrestling. Like, talk real. Wrestling needs to be real, okay, bro? I can't believe for the life of me a professional wrestler talks this prim and proper way using big words. What do you want to talk about? I don't get the whole Cody thing. I don't. I've never gotten the babyface thing. I don't get it, bro." Recalling the time he was attacked by a fan on the entrance ramp of Raw, Seth Rollins told Impulsive, "So first of all, this guy, I want to preface it by saying when I found out about everything, I felt very bad for this guy. This guy, there's some mental disability going on. His connection from reality is not all there. He was catfished online by someone pretending to be me, I believe. There was some amount of money exchanged for whatever he was being asked for, and this is not a new phenomenon. People will do this with, it happens a lot with our girls. People will catfish as our female superstars, and they'll just prey on these people. They'll say like, oh, my brother's sick in the hospital, can you send me money? But they don't ask for money, they ask for it in gift cards. It's insane. There was one with Becky, actually. This person finally figured out that they were being catfished. This person showed up at the front row of a show and brought this Ziploc bag of gift cards that they had sent. It was like, I added it up, we're talking thousands of dollars that they had given to Becky for her brother in the hospital or something like that. It was wild. In retrospect, what I remember is seeing somebody come around the corner running, which isn't unusual either because sometimes they're setting up pyro in the entrance for someone else, and he was in a t-shirt and pants, so he was kind of nondescript. So I just saw him running and didn't think anything of it. Next thing I know, he's cutting the corner, just zips right by Stewie and straight football tackles me. Form tackles me right there on the ramp, and it was terrifying because, as I said, I'm not prepared, so my instinct was just to get a hold of his head, and he's just clawing at me. He didn't have any weapons, thank God. He had nothing on him, but he's just kind of clawing. He's not really throwing any punches or anything. He's like grabbing my hair. So I have him trying to get him, but he's like a little ball. He's a stout man, but he's short, so he's like a little ball. So I couldn't quite get a hold of him. Security jumped quick. Our referee actually jumped quick. Everyone was trying to get him off, but he had a hold of my hair. I haven't divulged this part of the story yet. To try and dislodge him, the only thing that I could do, because I didn't want to punch him, I didn't want to hit him, the only thing that I could do, I saw he was on top of me, over me. All I saw was his legs were kind of like spread apart, so I just reached up and just grabbed. With every other Hall of Fame outside of WWE having a physical hall to walk through, Eric Bischoff said this about WWE having one on his Strictly Business podcast. It probably will happen at some point. It's just a question of priorities. What makes the most sense when? I'm sure it will happen at some point in time. Like I said, it's just a matter of when. When it comes to WWE having interest in signing the brother of Logan Paul, H. Jenkins of Ringside News said, Logan Paul was having a great time in WWE, but we can confirm that the company has no creative plans for Jake Paul. It seems they will not be joining each other in WWE at this point. Taking to Twitter yesterday, Cena Sr. promoted the recent AEW event writing should be a night of fierce action and great wrestling, July 19th, Wednesday, 7:30 p.m., AEW All Elite Wrestling, TD Garden, Boston. Hope to see you there. As JD McDonough was recently called up from NXT to Raw, it looks like plans for the star have been called off, as WRKD Wrestling wrote that JD McDonough's Judgment Day plans have been halted for the time being. He lost to Apollo Crews during last night's main event taping. Prior to the most recent episode of AEW Collision, it appears that CM Punk led a talent meeting, with it reported that when Fightful heard that there was a talent meeting at that episode of Collision, we shortly found out later that it didn't make its way to talent who weren't there or are typically featured on Dynamite more than Collision. There was a good reason for that, it seems, as a large part of the meeting was about how Collision had differentiated itself from Dynamite to the point where many of Dynamite's usual detractors have taken a liking to Collision. CM Punk led the meeting, and there were several topics brought up on how Collision could separate itself from what fans see on Dynamite, including the finishes of some matches. They went over what was and wasn't good for Collision, such as finishes, shenanigans, and the like. There were also subjects covered such as promoting AEW related projects and shows more, especially the Fight Forever video game. Some of the safety guidelines were also covered during the meeting. Touching on the idea of turning Roman Reigns heel earlier, Road Dogg said on his Oh You Didn't Know podcast, "No, I don't think so. You gotta let stuff sit. You gotta let stuff simmer. I know that's unpopular in today's day and age where I can get whatever I want and I can get it right now. Sometimes you gotta sit on this and see which way the wind blows. Boy, it blew in the right direction, because look at where we stand now and where he stands now as an individual and superstar. People hated him. They hated him. They hate him now. And yet everybody in the sold out arena, of which there are a lot of them now, acknowledges him on the weekly. They listen to his every word. They are hanging on his every word and every facial expression in these in-ring promos." On Roman Reigns' TikTok, the Tribal Chief showed off what takes place for him behind the scenes in WWE. Here's the video.
That's what I need to make him look big?
Kissed by the sun. Greatest skin of all time. It's available for you too. Awesome. You give me some of that hair, I'll give you some of this skin.
I think you have the hair, brother.
Don't worry, I'm gonna bump him later.
Going back to Road Dogg, he also said on his podcast that Miro could have been the world champ in WWE, saying, of course he could be a champion, honestly. He could have beat AJ Styles at Extreme Rules 2018 that night and been the champion, and I'll tell you why. I think him and Lana were a great package. I think she was beautiful to look at, he was a killer. I think it was a great package. I think it was right out of Central casting for Rocky 17, you know, and they worked perfectly together. He got in shape. He was legitimately hilarious when he would speak in broken English. He could have been an entertaining babyface or a heel champion, because I do think the promos could have been classic, and we would have had a Rusev Day every year and had a big celebration. So yeah, he definitely could have been the man. Maybe he still will be, you know what I mean? At an AEW event, an LA Knight chant would break out. Here's the clip.
Yo, I got a question. Whose game is it? Yeah!
Following surgery to repair his broken forearm, Bryan Danielson would post these pictures and write, about to sit and watch AEW Dynamite and thought I'd give an update on my arm. I got surgery about 2 weeks ago where they put a steel rod and 9 screws in my arm. Surgery went well and now I'm on the road to recovery. I'm bummed I'm missing blood and guts again, but Pac is an excellent replacement on the Blackpool Combat Club side. Thanks to everyone for all of their support, and make sure to check out Dynamite. Speaking about how the MLW antitrust lawsuit is affecting WWE, Dave Meltzer said on Wrestling Observer Radio, WWE is very, very leery because of the MLW lawsuit, so they're not making. If that MLW lawsuit wasn't there, WWE, and it's not just these guys, the elite, there's other guys that this relates to that have interest at least in hearing from WWE, and in one case interested in going to WWE, and WWE has been uncharacteristically, not aggressively, trying to steal talent. And this was your pro wrestling news update. I hope you're all having a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see y'all later.